I'm on the GRZY. 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 Yeah. I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY.
What's up, party people? If you're still living, get on down to that old black rhythm. This is the GRZY. Let's do it. So today's episode, so last week, I think I said it's supposed to be either a TV or a movie, like your YouTube channel, and you have to decide whether it's a TV or a movie, a TV show or a movie. I don't know, I'm still undecided. I tried to do the TV show, I tried to do the movie. That's what I tried to do with the whole cinematic scene. Here I am, I got an episode. So today, I'm talking about a couple of things. So today, the episode is called Get Rich or Die Crying. I'm just trying it out with the cards. I don't know what the cards are, but I got a couple of line items to talk about. So what are we talking about today? Today, I got this guy, Andrew Gillum. He's a Democratic superstar, Florida governor. You probably saw it in the news. Latest news is he gets caught crystal meth in the car, which is sad. A lot of people are sad. You know, when they first mentioned something happened with him, as long as he's okay, as long as, nobody did anything bad to him, he's got problems. I feel bad for the people that believed in him. Probably sounds tough, but life is tough. In life you'll face a lot of things, and you have to overcome that shit. Or suffer the consequences. There's no in between. A lot of people can say thoughts and prayers like there's some in between, but there's not. There's not. Anyway, another news. Another news I got on my notes. Young Miami. Speaking of Florida. Florida. I'm from Florida. I'm from Miami. This doesn't fare well in the news these days. So we got Young Miami. Hot. Well, the track, young scamming niggas, give me cash, or whatever the fuck that shit says, whatever. Something like that. Not our best moment, Black America, at all. Especially, and I'm just reading off the notes. My producers put together notes for the show, and so I'm reading off the notes, but we've got what happened at BET, the BET Awards, hosted by GRZY. Maybe the ignorance would be tolerable if it was black owned, but it's not. And I remember, I'm old enough to remember BET at its birth. I remember Teen Summit, conscientious, politically aware programming. I remember culture-centered news. They used to have news. Now they've got GRZY and Young Miami chanting about scamming niggers. So, in the time where we've got white nationalists marching, our black entertainment television is fixed on scamming niggas and jokes. I think our friend NDRE, and I'm a big fan of NDRE, she said, not all of us want to be woke. Not all of us want to be free. So anyway, meanwhile, Lizzo can't sell no albums. And that's not funny. She says the label won't help her out. The man's not helping you out, Lizzo. You ought to know by that. Anyway, you gotta get rich, motherfuckers. Get rich. Anyway, speaking of rich, today's sponsor, we got a sponsor today. Today's sponsor is a new startup. It's called The Office. You're stuck with this idea in your head, but you can't figure out how to get your website up. You can't figure out how to get your emails out. You need an office. It's like Kinko's, but it's for digital. And they help you out with your website, your emails, the office. TheOffC.com. If you got a brand, go visit the office, TheOffC.com. They got an onboarding thing. You chat with Theo. Theo will get you hooked up with a brand strategy in 5 minutes. Matter of fact, maybe even less than that. Answer a couple questions. It's online chat styley. You don't have to call anybody up. You don't need to set a meeting with some douchebag that you don't like. Chat with Theo, 5 minutes. He'll have a brand strategy and things that put you in situation to be successful. Anyway, back to the GRZY. So I remember when my son was 8, and my sister was talking to him on the phone. It's like once you're that age, you can, you're having conversations with adults and they're asking you things like what you want to do and what your dreams are or whatever. Anyway, my sister, she asks my son, she says, "Oh, so what do you want to do when you grow up?" And he comes up with something. I think veterinarian was the thing at the time. And she was asking him other things like, "Oh, do you want to be a basketball player or this or that?" He's like, "Nah." And she says, "Well, don't you want to be rich?" And he just kind of looked at her like, he says, "I'm already rich." Which is edifying to hear that he thought of himself in that way. But anyway, well, not anyway. I realized, hearing him say that made me think about it. I think most pointedly because I grew up the exact opposite. I grew up incredibly poor. I grew up incredibly poor, most of the time homeless. Shelter, street, child. And so I grew up specifically understanding that I was poor. Definitively. And I think I carried that through to a lot of adulthood, feeling poor. No matter how much I had. I could have $1 million and feel poor somewhere along the way. Not just financially. I did well financially, but I also became rich. Just rich on the inside. Rich. So much. Rich. I gotta be rich because the kid says I'm rich. So, whatever. Anyway. People talk about mindset. I don't really talk a lot about mindset. I'm about ready, get, set. That's what the set I'm on. But anyway, if we were to talk about mindset, how I got to be rich, how I got rich. 3 mindset shifts that got me rich. You ready? Let's dig in. Here's the GRZY. Alright, so I'll make it clear. The point of this channel is to get rich. That's the point. That's the point of the GRZY. The GRZY isn't just a bone. You bones or grind your bones into dust. It's to truly get rich. 3 things, 3 ways in which I got rich. Rules of being rich. Realizations, mindset shifts, whatever you want to call them. I got 3. Number 1. I'm not even going to show it to you, whatever. Number 1, Money can't buy love. A lot of times, whether it is, listen, it's not always romantic, right? Sometimes it's your friends, it's your family. You want to be loved. It's one of the most primal instincts, is to want to be loved, to want to be appreciated. So what does that do to you? Does that dictate how you spend? Does that dictate the financial decisions you make? Do you overcommit to a bigger house than you should? Do you co-sign that loan? That's a bad idea. Wanting to be loved, wanting the appreciation that those things should garner you. Well, there's a second part to this rule, actually. First part is, money can't buy love. But the second part is, let motherfuckers hate you. Hate. Fine. Or whatever. Whatever it is. Be displeased. Can't please the world. You'll go broke. So, let that shit go. Alright? That's rule number 1. Number 2. Number 2, stop being so thirsty. Let that shit cook. Meaning, sometimes it's materials, sometimes it's experiences, sometimes whatever it is. If it costs too much, chill. Just chill. And it doesn't even have to be money. If it costs too much time, if it costs you too much mental anguish, relax. Most of the time, the things that are supposed to be, or the most organic, are the things you have to bust your nuts for, or whatever. So, chill, relax, take your time. That's rule number 2. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of times it seems like a big deal right now. Depending on the size of the decision. A lot of times, if you're so consumed with it now, give it a week. If it's that car, or if it's that, whatever, give it a week. Chances are you won't even remember that shit next week. You put a thing on the calendar to say, oh, I'll revisit this. If it still feels the same way next week, then maybe. But for now, chill. Don't be thirsty. Relax. Take your time. Nobody gives a shit anyway. Alright? Number 3. This is a tip. It goes do 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 do. Don't worry. Do 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 do. Be happy. But seriously, don't worry. Be happy. Gotta keep it cool. A lot of times the toxins of chronic stress is the shit that puts you underneath the ground, quite frankly. I think specifically as Black people, entrepreneur people, struggling people, We need to make mental health a priority. Better mental health outcomes lead to better physical health outcomes, lead to better relational health outcomes, better financial health, professional health, all those things. So, personally, I've always been a big fan of therapy. Shout out to Better Health. They're not a sponsor, but I've surely benefited from their service. And yeah, it's probably the most important thing, is to have a balanced mental health life. If you don't have that, your finances, for whatever reason, whether it be overspending, addictions, chronic health costs, make sure you're at peace. That's the biggest thing. Here I got the card for my final thoughts. What does it say here? Stealing a quote from my favorite Bob Marley. It's a little corny, but you'll like it. It says, free yourself from mental poverty. True wealth is in your mind. There you go, some poetry for the day. Anyway, there's the GRZY. Another day, a lot more dollars. Stay on the grind. Let's do it. See you tomorrow. Boom.